everybody, Al here, and I have a new kind of video that I want to try out, and I hope you guys will enjoy it. It's a little bit different than the usual content I make on this particular YouTube account, but 2020 has been a weird year, and I can't be the only one who has decided to deal with it in a weird way. So, I don't know about anybody else, but who else here has reverted back to old hobbies to deal with the things, the many, many things going on right now? Because I have a lot. You may not know this about me, but back in the day, I used to cosplay quite a lot. I actually cosplayed all the way through high school into college, and only stopped cosplaying somewhere around 2017 due to just not having enough time or money or energy to put to that hobby. I also moved in between that period of time, and the place I was living at the time, I really didn't have the resources to craft big projects, so it kind of just went away. And like many people, during quarantine while being stuck at home and unemployed, I, for some reason, fell back into old habits and thought, literally right at the beginning of quarantine, what if I started cosplaying again? I think I actually have a tweet like from March that is something along the lines of it's somewhere along the lines of, what if I started cosplaying again? How wild would that be? And now it is September, and I have 2 cosplays that I finished and not a con or event in sight. But this video is going to be a walkthrough of the first cosplay I have done coming back into the hobby, which is Jester from Critical Role, which I hope people who already follow my account here on YouTube will be excited to see, since I post a lot of Critical Role content in the form of storyboards. I finished this costume about 2 months ago, probably, somewhere around. Time is weird and fake at this point, but I started her while I was still living in California in, like, I don't know. Again, time is fake. Who will fault me for not knowing exactly when? But she's now pretty much completely finished, with the exception of the always thought of I could improve a thing. For the most part, she's completely finished. The only other thing I may do is I may make her lollipop weapon eventually. As much as I hate carrying around big props. I hated it. I don't know why I'm thinking of it, but it's a cool prop, so maybe I'll make it in the future. But this video is going to be a breakdown of that cosplay, including materials, different ways I made things, and the like. First of all, before we even get into it, I am still very much a novice when it comes to sewing. I learned how to sew at a relatively young age, probably at the end of elementary school. I went to a day camp and they had a sewing room for some reason, and every once in a while you could volunteer to go into the sewing room and they would teach you to make certain things. I have a very vivid memory of making a doll baby sleeping bag, and that was probably the first time I learned how to sew or even use a sewing machine. That was all very basic and with the very, very, very much supervision of whoever was teaching that day. The second time I learned how to sew was in probably early high school, when I first started cosplaying and started making my own outfits. My mom has a little bit of a sewing background, so she taught me a lot of things, but for the most part they were very joint efforts. And by joint efforts, I mean she operated the sewing machine while I pinned and cut everything. This is the reason why I didn't realize I don't pin correctly till literally like 2 months ago. But that being said, I've had to kind of reacclimate myself to sewing and crafting, so there's some messy things on there. So please do not comment about how shitty my neck holes are, or the fact that my sleeves are never even. We're working on that. I'm working on that. But I'm excited to show you guys what I've done and talk about my process and the like, and hopefully you guys will like these videos. I have one more to do after this, and maybe I'll even start filming process videos. We'll see, because of course I literally just finished a costume like 2 days ago, and I'm already like, but what if I do the winter jester outfit that they just said? We'll get to that. So I'm going to turn around and show you guys my dress form so we can start going over and breaking down my jester cosplay. The pattern was hand drafted by me, which is why there's problems. Also, looking at it now, it probably should have ironed it before we did this, but that's okay. The lace finishing is a blush lace that I got from Joann's that ended up looking really nice, and I'm quite happy with it. Things that I want to improve is, like I said, this atrocious neckline that luckily you don't see at all because you have a cape over it. I need to get better at those. For some reason the neck holes on my shirts always end up like wider than they need to be. But let's put on the next piece. Alright, now for the bustier corset leather thing. This is the suede cloth faux micro suede from, I believe I got it at Joann's, like everybody else does. But this is a fun bit because this was the first thing I worked on when I started this cosplay. So I patterned this myself as well. I used the tried and true method of making form-fitting corset-y things, which has meant I wrapped myself in saran wrap and cut down the places I wanted to cut and used that as a pattern, which, to be honest, did not go as poorly as could have gone, considering, like I said, it was like the first thing I came back to making. There are some things that probably need to be improved on it. It has no boning. I didn't put any boning in it. I felt like, I don't really need to put any boning in it. Probably could have used some more structure, but she works off as it is. She was the first time I had done a zipper, and I'm quite proud of her. Now I think it's a fluke because I've done other zippers and none of them look even remotely this passable. But I'm proud. I'm proud of her. The buttons are recycled buttons from another cosplay that I did, and yeah. Next is my pride and joy, which is the skirt. It is made from a bottom weight suiting fabric that is like this nice blue color. I wanted it to have a little bit more heft to it, which is why I chose a little bit heavier suiting fabric, and then just a regular linen with that same lace finish that the sleeves have. This skirt was made entirely using Jenny D's Jester skirt tutorial, so there's actually a full tutorial on this skirt if you're looking to make something similar or make the Jester skirt. The back of this is not as pretty, so I'm not even going to bother. I also use a petticoat underneath this, which is just a generic petticoat I bought off Amazon. I wanted the skirt to have a little bit more volume than it's depicted because I like poofier skirts and I wasn't about to not do it. Same thing with having this a little higher waisted than some of the other depictions of Jester skirt that I've seen. That's just personal preference. I really enjoy this skirt, even though the back is not super clean and she's not perfect, but I do enjoy being in her. She's very poofy and fluffy. I adore her. So to make the half cape, I used Kirli Cosplay's half cape tutorial, which I will put in the description. The fabric I chose was a flannel marbled fabric that I got off fabric.com, if I could say the word fabric a few more times. I was a little worried about the amount of texture it would add, but it ended up adding just like the perfect amount. And she is lined with just a regular old cotton. The closure is just a big snap, although I've redone that closure 3 times and I'm still not perfectly happy with how this closes, so one day we'll figure it out. Next are the accessories. All of the metal accessories, like the little thing on top of the hood and this little thing that's on the sash that she wears, are made out of epoxy sculpt. I may redo this one and make it out of foam clay so that it's a little lighter, but they're all made out of epoxy sculpt, painted, sanded, the whole thing. This is just made out of that same faux suede fabric that the bust is made out of, and the belt is just a belt that I painted. That's all it is. The chain and traveler symbol she has hanging from her waist is just a necklace that I got off Joann's, and a traveler symbol that I made add epoxy sculpt, and that is it. So the next thing is the tail. I used Jenny D's tail tutorial. She is very much the big sister of all Jester cosplayers. I feel like I've used like almost all of her tutorials for a good portion of these costumes. But this is just a EVA foam dowel rod covered in tights that are the same color as my Jester arm socks, just sewn together with a little spade at the end. I added a little bow and a little charm for extra Jester-ness. So her wig is a Indigo wig from Arda. It is in Midnight Blue. I have mostly just curled it. I haven't really cut it because I don't want it to lose too much of its original length in case I want to do her hairstyle that has a little bit more length to it, so I've just curled it. Plus, I've always drawn her hair a little poofier and curlier around the edges, so that's why I tend to curl it. I actually just recurled it the other night, and it has like these nice ringlets in the back that no one sees because they're in the back. The horns are a pair of horns I got off Amazon, I believe, and I've just painted gray. They are adhered with magnets. One that just fell. But they're adhered with magnets. They stick really well. The magnets on the other side aren't even sewed in. They are just plopped in, and they've always held for me. So I quite enjoy them. Next are the shoes, which are just a basic pair of leather, like faux leather suede shoes that I got off Amazon. They're fine. They're not super screen accurate, but they're accurate enough for me. I always kind of lose energy around the shoes, and I'd much rather be comfortable than be in some stupid, uncomfortable shoe. But yeah, they're great. I'll link them in the bio. So that is my Jester cosplay. I really love her, especially for being my first costume back in the hobby. I'm very proud of her. She's a lot of fun to wear. I've worn her quite a few times already for TikToks. By the way, follow me on TikTok. I am yet another millennial cosplayer on TikTok for some reason. But you can follow me at Almia Cosplay. I'll put it somewhere around here. I forget if I have a underscore on there or not. Follow me there. I like TikTok a lot. I like doing TikToks. You can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram. I am trying to get in to doing cosplay social media rather than just doing my vague Twitter nonsense. So follow me over there. I have one more costume that I have finished that I'm going to do a full breakdown with, and that is my taco cosplay, which hopefully I will have up for you guys soon. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it's kind of new content for me. Storyboards will be coming back eventually. I just finished a big storyboard sample, so that was what was keeping me from doing other storyboard content. Hopefully I'll get back to it now. We will see. Storyboards take a lot of energy from me. They shouldn't, but they do to make them for YouTube. Hopefully I'll be getting a few more of those out. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will be doing a little bit more cosplay content in the coming future, hopefully. I have a photo shoot with her planned, hopefully for next month if everything goes according to plan. So hopefully I'll have some big photos to show of her, as well as maybe a vlog of her photo shoot. Hopefully. But thanks for sticking around with me. I hope you guys enjoyed it. See you next time. And it just basically clips on the back. Come back. Come back. Don't do this to me. Don't do this to me. Okay, now you're too tall.